What's up, everybody? D-Man back. Well, I can't. Why am I not able to speak fast all of a sudden? What's up, everybody? D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another King Kong discussion video. Hell yes, dude! I can't explain. I'm on a King Kong kick right now because I've been watching Kong movies for Kongathon. It's just such an amazing franchise. I just want to talk about King Kong. So today we're going to be doing a breakdown discussion of Kong Skull Island, or Skull Island Birth of Kong. It's the King Kong Skull Island comic book tie-in that was released in 2017. It's actually a really good read. I highly recommend it. I'll do a full review for it, an official review, but for now, let's jump through it. I did a breakdown back in 2017, breaking down all the Easter eggs in issue 1 of this comic. I'm gonna go back and do it again. I'm gonna recover those Easter eggs, so if you saw that video, you're a little bit ahead of the curve here, but we're gonna rerun through it all. We're gonna break down all the Easter eggs in Skull Island Birth of Kong, the whole series, all 4 issues, the full issue run. There's actually a lot less actual Easter eggs here than there were previously, because previously I was doing a little bit of a plot by plot / review, whereas here it's strictly Easter eggs. Jumping into it, the line "we don't belong here" makes a return. It's stated in this comic book. That line was also a big key point in the ad campaign for Skull Island 2017, so it's kind of fun to see it return here. A bag reads Project Monarch, which is a nice tie-in to the intro for Godzilla 2014, which also has the text Project Monarch, and the opening of Kong Skull Island, which is set to the song Project Monarch. The Janjura power plant is mentioned. You know, this is a big Muto containment facility because the story opens in 2012, so at this point the Muto is still being contained there, and so it's mentioned again. The kaiju are referred to as Muto in this storyline for 2 reasons. Number 1, because at this point in real life history, the people behind the MonsterVerse had not yet decided to change the name from Muto to Titan. That was a Michael Dougherty decision that came in 2018 when he was making King of the Monsters. So at this point, yes, the monsters were all still referred to as Mutos. The other reason is because in story, there's no reason to call them anything but that. The term Muto still applies here, and it still applies no matter what. I mean, Behemoth is still a Muto. I guess the only reason that he isn't is because we have identified him as Behemoth, but the term Muto in continuity has become synonymous for the creatures that attacked in Godzilla 2014 and the creature that shows up at the end of King of the Monsters. So the term Muto has now been taken on a new meaning in the MonsterVerse to mean those creatures, and it no longer is just the term, the blanket statement for all kaiju. Serizawa is mentioned along with the idea of nature's balance, which is a returning key point from Godzilla 2014. It's also kind of fun to do this in retrospective now that Godzilla King of the Monsters has come out, because we can see how all of this evolves. There's said to be a monarch study going to Antarctica to study Muto fossils found there. It turns out to be a fake. It's not actually a real thing that's going on. It's just a cover story so that Aaron Brooks, the son of Houston Brooks, can go over to Skull Island. But this could be a potential reference to Ghidorah, who will be found. He'll be discovered in 2016, so that's still 4 years down the line when Ghidorah will be discovered. But it could be a reference to why Monarch went to the area in the first place, is because maybe there really were Muto fossils found there that they were gonna investigate, and they just didn't wind up doing that until 2016. Also, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, but we have returning characters here. Houston Brooks shows back up. We also see a photograph with Sand, and then Houston Brooks' son, Aaron Brooks, is introduced into the MonsterVerse, which is nice. It's cool. Ospreys are introduced as Monarch's main form and method of transportation, which will be expanded upon in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Skull Island is supposed to be kept a secret from both the public and Monarch at this point in the timeline in order to protect the island's inhabitants. This will all change by the end of 2012 when Houston Brooks goes back to the island to save his son Aaron, and then establishes a Monarch outpost on the island. We don't actually know that he's the one who does it, but Monarch establishes an outpost on the island called Outpost 33, which then will take shape. But at this point in the timeline, only few people who have special access know about Skull Island, because they don't want all of Monarch's people knowing about it, because otherwise what happens in this storyline would have happened sooner. Skull Island is referred to as a monster-infested island, which is an accurate observation. You know, no one's gonna deny that. It really is. It's an island with monsters on it, but it also could could be a possible hint to becoming Monster Island. It's kind of a hint to the name because they're pretty similar. So the idea that Skull Island could become Monster Island is hinted at here, which is also hinted at in the Godzilla King of the Monsters credits. Kong is referred to as a big monkey again, which is again a returning line from Skull Island. We see returning locations, the return of the same color palette and style from Kong Skull Island, so I'm not going to cover all of the returning locations, but there are a lot of them. We see something similar to a halo jump at the start of this, which was previously seen in Godzilla 2014. It's stated that the animals on Skull Island are more flora than fauna, which is a returning line from the Monarch files. Aaron's crew crashes on the island, similar to how Houston's crew does in 1973. It's revealed that Hank Marlowe taught some of the Iwi how to speak English. The Skullcrawlers are referred to as devils again, which is what Hank Marlowe referred to them as in Kong Skull Island. A giant crocodile shows up. It's an introduction of a new titan in the Monsterverse, but also beyond that, it looks very similar to Biollante when it very first rises up out of the water. It could be a visual reference to Biollante, who we have references to, or Easter eggs to anyways, in Godzilla King of the Monsters. A crashed helicopter from 1973 is seen with overgrowth on it, which does some nice world building. We can see how things on the island have changed since the 70s, and we can still see that the impact that the humans had on the island is still there. A few living skullcrawlers are seen, which reveals that there are more of them alive. Again, this is expanded upon in the Godzilla King of the Monsters novelization, as we find out the skullcrawlers become subservient to Ghidorah. Kong is stated to be the strongest member of his species. This explains how he will stand apart from the rest of his species in a fight against Godzilla. Kong will be the pinnacle of his species, and that's how he can go toe-to-toe with the big G, and we already know that Godzilla has gone toe-to-toe with one of the members of the Kong species in the past, because we see that in Godzilla vs. Kong. The last issue of the 4-issue run here of the Skull Island Birth of Kong series is called Over the Rainbow. Now, this is a clear reference to Wizard of Oz, although it's kind of an inversion of that, right? In Wizard of Oz, they go somewhere over the rainbow and find Oz, this magical place that's awesome, and it's just great. And here, the difference is that they go somewhere over the rainbow and they find this horrible world that's just evil and wants to kill them. So it's a reference to that. You know, it's a reference to the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's a callback to one of the lines in the first issue. Houston Brooks says, "Oh, Aaron, you're over the rainbow now," which is why it's the title of the last issue. And then in retrospect, it's fun to go back and look back on that, because in Godzilla King of the Monsters marketing, the song Over the Rainbow actually was a big key point in the marketing. It's used in the beautiful TV spot as well as the third trailer. So it's kind of got some additional tie into Godzilla after the fact, which is fun. The gang runs through this big forest, turns out to be the bamboo forest, which has the Mother Longlegs in it. This actually could be what attracts the Mother Longlegs to the village, the Iwi village, later on in the issue when everything goes crazy. But at the very least, we see them return to that location. They also run past Kong's bloody handprint on the side of a mountain, which I don't know how it hasn't washed off in 20 plus years, but it's still there. So that's cool, I guess. Houston Brooks' seismic charges, I actually really like this twist. Houston Brooks' seismic charges are used to blow up part of the Iwi wall by one of the Monarch guys that goes crazy. It's really cool because we get to see the dangerous impact that humanity has on Skull Island is still present even now, you know, almost 30 years after the fact. Kong jumps in and saves the Iwi village. He kills all the spiders, which reveals that he cares about human life, which is a big key point of this whole storyline. This whole 4-comic run is actually really just teaching the audience that Kong doesn't just protect himself, doesn't just protect the island, but wants to protect humanity. That's what this 4-issue run is teaching us. We also see Kong is much larger here than he was in Kong Skull Island. If you didn't get that based off the size comparison of seeing him next to the full-grown Mother Longlegs, you certainly get that impression when he stands face to face with Aaron Brooks at the end of the issue, and his head is just huge compared to what it was in 1973 when James Conrad and Mason Weaver were face to face with Kong. It's also a little parallel there with Kong coming face to face with Aaron, tying back to that scene he had in Kong Skull Island. Kong, also another tie back to Skull Island, kills Rikio the same way he kills Packard. He does this because he realizes Rikio is the one who blew up the wall. It adds to Kong's intelligence and also develops his character as someone who doesn't really take any crap from us little people that step out of line. Shows that he still will kill us if he needs to. The line here, Kong has an instinct to protect human life, to protect us all. It sets up Kong as the true hero of the Monsterverse in a way that Godzilla really isn't. Godzilla is doing it to protect the world because he likes nature's balance. Kong's doing it because he wants us to be okay. And you know, that kind of comes into conflict with, are we the heroes of this story we have written? Humanity, the people destroying the planet that we're living on, are we really the good guys? Should Kong be defending us? You can get into all those philosophical questions on your own, or you could ask Jonah Allen and he'll just tell you, no, kill them all. They're a plague, they're a virus, the Titans need to wipe us us out. He's stupid. He should really be killing us. We cut back to 2012 and we see Houston Brooks decide to go looking for Eren. It's supposed to be, oh, you know, now that I'm retired from Monarch, I'm gonna go back to the island and save my son. We actually learn in the Godzilla King of the Monsters novelization that it's this specific trip that makes Houston Brooks realize that he will not retire from Monarch. He goes on this trip with Monarch, saves his son, and then goes, you know what? I'm not gonna leave. I can't leave Monarch. It's in my blood, so I'm gonna stay here, which is cool. So that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. D-Man, out.